one of my values for my life is excellence. And whatever I'm put into or whatever I'm given, I like to be excellent in whatever way I can. I didn't even know what a video agency was until I saw your ad and actually got in the program. And I was like, oh, this is called a video agency. I just knew that I know how to work a camera and I know how to set up the lights. I know how to make videos and I know how to make people look good. But how do I get this out there so that people will actually start paying me to do this for their business? That's the crazy part, that in 30 days, I made what I made in my business the year before. You do need the right tools to be successful, but if you do not implement them, don't expect success. You're gonna have to take risks, and this is your risk that I believe is worth taking because it has transformed my life, and just imagine what it can do to yours.
Yo, Abigail, what is going on? How are you?
Doing well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well too. I'm happy to be doing this interview with you. You've been crushing it lately. Your engagement is jumping out the roof right now. Your quality is there. You're booking clients. Like this
Yep.
journey has been really crazy to see.
Yes. It's honestly crazy how fast things can happen when you have the right tools.
Exactly. And when you're talented too. Like everything has to come together, and that's what's happening for you right now. So can
Yeah.
you tell the audience a little bit about yourself and your background and how did you actually get into video production?
Yeah. So I'm 21 and I started creating content really when I was in elementary school. I took photos and I did trailer videos on iMovie. And then in middle school, I had a YouTube channel. That's where I learned how to edit videos and talk to a camera. I played Minecraft. And then my junior year of high school, I decided to take on photography seriously, started to get into more editorial photos. I started to do weddings. I graduated and then I went and did a internship at my church for 2 years. And that was where I really got a lot of repetition in with photography and verbalizing the ideas that you have and how to execute it with a team. And from there was when it was now my decision to go off on my own and work for someone or start my business. Okay, there we go. I decided to work for somebody while I was getting my things in order for my business and trying to find what the best step for that was. So I had an incredible opportunity December of 2020 to leave the current, not the current. I had an incredible opportunity December 2023 to leave the job that I was at and to work under this guy who is very great at what he does in video creation. And I was able to work with him for about 4 months until I really decided, okay, I want to start my own business for real. And that was when Julian's face popped up on my phone. I followed him and I think I followed him maybe for a week and then I got a DM from him. And since then, life's been great.
Life's been great. That's what I like to hear.
It's been great.
So
Yeah.
essentially, you came to a point, right? Number one, you said you did your first wedding while you're in high school.
Yeah. So what did I do? I used to shadow someone. His name's Ross Kiker. He does a ton of weddings. And I used to second shoot for him here and there. But it was mainly like portrait photography and really just learning how to use the camera,
Yeah.
what editing style I liked. More so, I did weddings my after I graduated high school.
Okay. That's dope. Yeah. So your background's in photography first.
Yes, photography
Yes.
first,
And
but I did videos in middle school. So,
okay.
but I took photography more seriously first.
That makes sense. That's why you really get like compositions and stuff. Like for me,
Mhm.
I'm opposite, video first, and then I learned photography as I went. And that helped me with understanding lighting, aperture, all that, all those types of things. But you said
Yeah,
that you had a point where you were like, hey, should I start my business or work for somebody? You chose to work for somebody, right? Which is good. We all need to learn from somebody. That's how I got started too, right? But tell me about that. Like, what did you learn what did you learn working under people before you decided to go back out and try it by yourself?
Yeah, so when I worked for an eyelash company, and it was great, but I realized, dang, I'm here for 8 hours, and what they're having me do, I can really get done in the solid 3, 4 hours, and then I'm done. Because once you start working a lot, you hit a capacity when you've worked so much that you should probably take a break for fresh ideas to come out. So I saw that there was more speed. I had speed,
Mm.
and I knew that I could get paid more for my speed. And knowing how to do things and somebody who doesn't know how to do them, they're telling you how to do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So someone who's inexperienced tells the experienced person how to do their job. So that part was really hard for me because one of my values for my life is excellence. And whatever I'm put into or whatever I'm given, I like to be excellent in whatever way I can. So to work for someone, knowing that it can be better, but I can't make it better because they won't let me, is very hard for me. And that's what really pushed me to take the step, to start taking steps to do something for myself.
Love it. And when you say you wanted more, right? How did you even know to want more? Did you see what was out there? Did you see possibilities, what other people were making? Like, how did you even know
Yeah.
that was a possibility?
Number one, I was bored. I was bored and I knew that there was more, right?
Mhm.
So that was when I went to what's it called? That's when I went from a W-2 job to a 1099 for 4 months. And this is where I started to work with someone who is very well, or this is when I started to work with someone who's really good at what they do. And through working with him, I was around entrepreneurs like Rolls Royce SUVs pulling up to the spot. And I was like, what is it? So I just I saw how much people were making. And I also saw how much they were willing to pay this person that was teaching me. And I was working with them. And it really opened my eyes because I had never been exposed to that. So that was when I decided, okay, these things, I know I have my unique style. I know I have my unique gift, though it's the same videos, right?
Yeah,
I know I can do it differently, and I see people are willing to pay for it. So if I can deliver something that's unique, how much more would somebody be willing to pay for that?
makes sense. So you saw it up close, right? You're like, hey, what you're paying me is nice and all, but I see that you're making a lot more, and we're doing pretty much the same thing. Obviously, like they could have been more experienced, but you still were able to see what people were willing to pay, right?
Mhm.
So tell me this, right? At that time, what were you like specifically struggling with, right? That resonated with you? Like when you saw my ad, right? Obviously, you had
Mhm.
some type of problem that my content solved for you, right? So what were you struggling with at that point, and why did you decide to work with me?
Yeah, I guess I really needed this, like the beginning steps of what even is this? Because I didn't even know what a video agency was until I saw your ad and actually got in the program. And I was like, oh, this is called a video agency. So I didn't have the language for it, nor did I even know where to begin. I just knew that I know how to work a camera and I know how to set up the lights. I know how to make videos and I know how to make people look good. But how do I get this out there so that people will actually start paying me to do this for their business? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So a lot of people in your position would say, "Hey, I'm young. There's YouTube. Let me just go learn it by myself, right?
Mhm.
Let me just figure it out, watch a bunch of these YouTube videos and just try it by myself." Why didn't you take that route?
I'm sure I probably tried. There's only so much that you can get on YouTube. And also, it takes a lot longer, right? Because you have to go out there and find the people that you best learn from, and you can understand them. And then, okay, that's one video. What about the 30 other videos that you have to watch? So you have to repeat that whole process over and over again. And when you look back, a couple years are going to go by,
Yep.
So all those skills that I acquired, it took me years to do that. It just wasn't like a here's a camera, here's one video, go do the thing. But it was multiple videos that I had to watch and repetition. Yeah, that's why I think I tried. I probably tried, but it always felt like there was a little bit more information that I was missing. So they give you the surface when there's actually a lot more underneath. And yeah, I found the a lot more underneath.
Yeah, and there is a lot more underneath. So I gotta say, after our first call, you have to be like the fastest person to execute. As far as that first day, you already had content being made, which is pretty wild. Some people gotta just sit back and take a breather. Okay, now I'm ready to jump in. But you were like, oh, this is all I need to do. Okay, let me get to it, right? Because
Yeah.
before we start working, you hadn't put any type of personal branding content out before, right? So tell me about that process, right? So you got into the program. We had our first one-on-one call. And what steps did you take right away to start getting to your desired goals?
Yeah. So I saw you need to have 6 videos, like 4 to 6 videos out before you run an ad. So my goal was run that ad because I knew that once that ad started, that I would start getting leads and clients coming in and calls booked. So I'll be honest with you. I skipped to the ad part and I was like, let me just see what I need to do in order to get this ad going. And while the ad's running and while those videos are out there and post or being posted, I can be watching the courses as they're already out there.
Mhm.
So I'm pretty sure I just looked up on ChatGPT, like what are some questions that people would have for people that make videos. And I just simplified it, but made it fun. But that was my number one priority. I have to do these videos. And once these videos are out there, then I can start going through the rest of the course because this has to get done first in order for me to even start seeing any clients. So that was just my number one goal. Get these videos out so you can run the ad. The sooner you get them out, the sooner you can start going through the rest of the course. And I was definitely scared because I felt like, okay, what happens when I get the client and I don't know what to even say?
Yeah.
So the mindset that I had to adapt was once that's an issue, then you can go ahead and attack it. And not in a ignorant, is that, I think that's the word I'm
No,
looking
you're
for,
just
like an
solving
ignorant,
for today's
not in an
problems.
ignorant way, but
Yeah.
yeah, I knew I needed to take one step at a time. And once that's a problem, it's not a big problem. I know the answer is there. And once I need it, I'll go look for it. And that's really what I did. I got the I got like my first call booked and I was like, shoot, okay. Now I gotta now I gotta figure out how to do this, signing clients, and I'm like, all right, now what kind of videos do I even make for them?
Yeah.
So I figured it out along the way because I knew that if I thought too much about what could happen or what I need to learn, that I wasn't going to execute right then and there.
Yeah. You'd be like paralyzed. Too much information.
Yeah, yeah.
So were you surprised by how simple the process actually was when it came to putting those ads out?
Yes. I was like, that's it? That's all I gotta do? Shoot. Yeah. I was pleasantly surprised because I was like, dang, that I didn't know it was that not easy, but I didn't know. I thought there were more steps. I thought there were more steps, but I thought there were more steps because I didn't have the knowledge,
Yeah.
didn't have the proper tools. So once I got the plan down, then it was just, okay, now I can actually execute.
Yeah. Because honestly, running the actual ads, like hitting boost, that is the simplest thing, but it's everything else that adds to it.
Right,
So
right.
that paired with your aesthetic, with how you present yourself, with the value that you provide, that's really what converts. So that's one thing you did good right away. It's hey, even the way you light yourself, like me, I do it like 45-degree angle. You're like, no, I'm
Mine's right in front of my face right
yeah,
now.
but that's flattering for women. There's no shadows. That's like perfect. And the fact that
Yeah.
you care about the actual details, that all added to it. But like, how soon after you ran your first ad did you start to get results?
Yeah. So I started my follower count like day by day. It's just going up and up and up.
Yeah, what did
And I
it
had
start
some
at?
people, I don't even know. I'd have to go back and look. It was definitely under the thousands.
Oh, and now you're like at
I think.
four.
Yeah, I'm at 4,000 right now. But I'm pretty sure it was under the thousands, maybe 800. And then, so people were typing in the word that I had said to say. I think it was social, but they weren't serious. Like I could tell that they weren't the client that I wanted to work with
Hmm.
based off of their presentation. And I know some people reach out to everyone, but I just knew the kind of person that I wanted to work with. So I think it took maybe a week for me to select the client that I wanted. So there
Yeah.
were other people that I definitely could have hopped on a call with and booked them for sure, but I was looking for someone specific. So I think it took me like a week to
Okay.
actually get them on a call and lock them in
Yeah, you don't
to
want to work with
convert.
you don't want to work with the trapper rapper, right?
Yeah, yeah, 10K and then the diamond emoji, and because I got a lot of that, and
Yeah.
I
I'm seeing
wanted,
some of those.
yeah, but I wanted someone who I don't want to have to convince you that you need social media, and I wanted to see some effort from them because if you take your business seriously, you're going to try,
Yeah.
and I wanted to see that from the clients that I worked with because then I'll know they will be passionate about what I'm doing with their business and they'll want to be a part of it. And that's the kind of client that I was looking for.
That's really smart, right? It's really smart. So, as what I focus on most is the business side, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing that you say, hey, I need to know the business side. That's why I want to work with you. And in order to understand the business side, there's a huge thing that we have to discuss, which is money. A lot of the thing with photographers, videographers, we'll spend so much money on equipment. We'll never spend
Mm-hmm.
it on the things that actually matter, right? We'll spend, oh, maybe let me just buy more camera equipment. That's going to help me get more clients. That's not true, right? That's not true at all. The equipment doesn't matter. It's about the end result that you can get for the client and knowing how to actually acquire those clients. So, what were you making, right? And what were you charging before starting to work with me versus
Mm-hmm.
now?
Yeah. So I think what's really special about how I did this whole program with you was that I knew I wanted to provide video services, but I had never done it before. I'd never provided video services. It had only ever been I would charge like a couple thousand for weddings, but I had never even done a video, any social media stuff before I joined your program. So I was really going in with a clean slate, quite literally knowing nothing.
Yeah.
So I knew how to make videos, but I didn't know how to advertise it. I didn't know how to market it. I never even tried. And I'm grateful that I found you because I was able to do it the correct way from the beginning. But how much I made in my, do you want me to talk about that now? How
Yes.
much I made? So in the past year, last year, I started my business, I think in October, and I made $11,000 from October to the end of the year. And then this year, this is where I dropped the bomb now. So this year, I officially started with Julian in March. And what are we in? March, April, May, June, July, August. So that's 5 months. So about the same amount of time, I would say. And I'm at 31K right now that I've made from just following Julian's step, which is insane because monthly, I make double what I made at my W-2 job. And I've doubled what I made in my business last year. And I'm the one that's taking it slow. So I could be doing more and I know I could. But for me, I'm trying to figure out the exact kind of niche that I want. And with that, that takes a little bit of time and experimenting. But I'm so content with the rate that I'm going. So I'm beyond grateful and happy with that. It's insane how fast things can change
Yeah.
when you have the right tools.
And now it's like you can dictate the speed, right? Because now how to acquire clients predictably. That hey, if I just put more into ads, if I talk to more
Right.
people, then I'll make more money. That's simple.
Right.
And you're right now, you're like, let me take my time to figure out who I actually want to work with because you don't want to get burnt
Mm-hmm.
out. And you actually like you're enjoying life right now too.
And in my first month, because I didn't mention this, but in my first month in March, was it March?
I think it was
30 days
April.
between
Yeah.
March and April. Yeah. I signed 12K, 0.2K within 30 days of working with Julian. So crazy. That's the crazy part that in 30 days, I made what I made in my business the year before.
Now imagine doing that month over month over month.
Exactly.
That's what's next for you. So tell me this, what has
Crazy.
this done for your life, right? Like, how has your life changed since being able to succeed in your business?
Yeah, I get to wake up at 10 o'clock. I'm just kidding. It's given me a lot more peace, I would say, about my future and not worrying so much about trying to figure out what the next thing is because I was exposed to, hey, it really isn't that difficult if you have the right tools. That's given me peace of mind and my income, how I can make more income. It has completely changed my lifestyle. Literally, my whole life has changed. My whole life has changed for the better, and I'm eternally grateful. But now I'm able to do my business, but I'm also able to go to my friend's birthday on Wednesday at 10 o'clock in the morning and spend 3 hours at the pool. I'm able to take a whole week to go to Palm Springs with my friend and I'll do some work there if I need to. So it has given me freedom in the season that I'm in right now in my life. And man, you better believe I said goodbye to that W-2 once I collected that last paycheck, I ain't going back. I'm not going back. It's completely changed my life. And I'll never forget that I think it was last year in May, I was talking to somebody about my business and how I said that the one thing, can you hear the dog barking?
Is that what that is? Yeah.
Yeah, great. But I said, this is the one thing, this is how I'll know oh my gosh, let me say this again. This is how I know I've made it in my business. If I just get a standing desk, I just wanted a standing desk because every successful person I know has a standing desk. So I got my standing desk maybe a little bit over a month ago because I was super picky with which one I wanted. But it's so crazy how fast those things changed. And I've been beyond blessed with other things beside the standing desk that have more value to them. Right? But yeah, and what's the craziest part is I'm only 21.
Yeah.
I'm only 21 and this is the life that I get to live. So just imagine a year or two, 10 from now. So I'm so grateful. So grateful.
That's awesome. That's crazy. Yeah, because you're so young, right? Like at 21, I think I was selling alarms door to door. Absolute hell of a job. I wish I knew then what I know now, right?
Of course.
But yeah, you have a really good head start. So has there been any other opportunities that have came along since focusing on building your business?
Yes. For me, I'm doing a mix, right? So I am growing my personal page while I am growing my business. But those two things work hand in hand because my business is about videos. And in order to grow my personal page, I have to make videos, right? So I've had the opportunity of some brands reaching out to me, like sending me free stuff, which is cool. I have
I
had
didn't
the
know that.
opportunity. Yeah, yeah. So I have something in the works right now where a brand, I'm just gonna make a simple video for them and they're giving me free stuff. So
That's dope.
yeah, I get to do that. I've had the opportunity to take pictures of a celebrity pastor, and that was through somebody I knew, but I had the credentials that I was continuing to work on that qualified me even more because the person that reached out to me was this celebrity pastor's manager, not the person I knew. So, yeah, I think the biggest opportunities that I would say though isn't, yes, it is business, but most importantly, it's the people in my life. I have more of an opportunity to spend time with them, pour into them, and be there. And that's invaluable.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. That's what
Hmm.
we work for, to spend more time with our family. And that's
Yep.
what the point of entrepreneurship is, to be able to design life the way you want.
Yeah.
And
And
then,
that's what this has allowed me to do at
yeah,
21.
and we get more and more selfish with that. So like you'll see that you want to just, now that you're in this season of, oh, this actually works. You tell me I could design my life the way I want. You're gonna want to just keep fine tuning that. So now you're not going to accept anything that's not aligned with you, even with the types of clients you work with, the type of projects you take on. Now you're going to get really disciplined. Even, okay, I don't
Yeah.
want to work these days, then you're not going to, right?
exactly.
And then the ceiling is just so high. There's
Yep.
no cap at all.
Quite literally. Absolutely no cap.
Yeah. So what would you say is like the biggest lessons that you've learned over the past few months?
Biggest lessons. You do need the right tools to be successful, but if you do not implement them, don't expect success. I'd say that. And discipline. Discipline has been my biggest challenge being so young doing this. But the lesson that I've learned is, hey, if you want to continue to have this kind of life, these are the disciplines that you have to implement. And implementing them has made me as an individual better. And it's just another eye-opening thing that happened. Just like when I was able to be around entrepreneurs that I saw were paying high ticket, okay, I see that people are willing to pay, but now I have the tools and how to implement them. So just imagine, because this isn't just like something you can do for a video agency, right? This is
Yeah.
other businesses that you want to have too, and how you can do that. So it's invaluable.
Yeah. And on that note,
Yeah.
right, the fact that you're working on your brand so you can have those other opportunities too. Tell me about that. Because like as we talked about before, you didn't make any content before this for yourself. And now
Yeah.
you can't stop. Like you found out your style, the engagement's popping off. So what have you learned about the importance of like authority and actually like building a personal brand?
Let's talk about that blue check mark first. Because once I did that that changed some things and it was just like another stamp. But now I really do understand how this is what is going to take over for businesses. And I want to make videos. I did before, but it had to be unto something. I didn't want to just
Mhm.
make something unto nothing. And now that I have the tools and I've taken the time to think about, okay, this is the direction that I want to go, I'm not going to stop because I'm seeing the value in it.
Yeah.
So, yes, I'm doing it for my business, but I'm also doing it for my personal brand, for whatever else comes in the future.
Yeah, it's all the same. Really, it's one of the same.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, like just the leverage that comes with it. Like
Hmm.
you're gonna get to a point where you're having conversations with people and they're gonna be like fangirling over you.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like they're
It's
gonna be
getting
starstruck. Oh, I can't believe I'm
it's
talking to
crazy.
Abigail. That's gonna happen if
Yeah.
it's not already.
Mhm.
Like for me, because I really started working on my personal brand maybe 15 months ago. I'd say like May 2023. And my life has changed, right? And the thing is, I'm not massive at all. There's people who are have much bigger followings on
Mhm.
Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok. You don't have to have a massive following.
Right.
You just need to have an audience that actually listens to you and cares. And that's all the difference, right?
Yep.
And just from these small audiences, we can build tens of $1,000s worth businesses, maybe even millions, right? And it's okay, that's just the foundation. Now, once we actually get bigger into YouTube and Instagram and start getting a bigger following, then that's seven, eight figure territory, which is insane, but
Right.
it's all possible.
Need the tools.
Exactly. So, what advice would you give to someone who was in the exact same situation as you, but was like hesitant about if they should join the authorities, creators, and get started?
Yeah. I was hesitant too, of course, because I'm 21 and you're not really balling at 21, which is money to drop, right? It's usually a money thing. So I asked my family, I asked my parents, and they didn't say no, but they told me to think about it. But I knew he wasn't lying. I just knew. So I had to make the decision on my own, right? But I would say to anyone who even wants to have their own business or to be successful, you're going to have to take a risk. And though now that I'm in it, I'm like, no, this isn't risky. Why? Because it's legit. But you see it as a risk. In order to be successful, you're going to have to take risks. And this is your risk that I believe is worth taking because it has transformed my life. And just imagine what it can do to yours.
Thank you for that. Yeah, definitely an educated risk. Last question,
Hmm.
maybe two. So, what about
Okay.
this? You made me just have another train of thought. So, what about
Okay.
me specifically did you see and be like, he's not lying? This is a risk worth taking.
Yeah. Yeah. The amount of results that you had, the insights that you listed, the fact that you had bingeable content, you had content before I saw the ad. I saw how long you were doing it for. It wasn't just something that you started doing last week. It had you had the proof to back up what you were doing, and not just the proof, but the consistency. So when I saw your YouTube, I was like, okay, this video is a month old. So I know this isn't 24 hours old.
Mhm.
So seeing all of that definitely was like, okay. And then the interviews that you had, people talking. And then what's the worst thing that can happen? It's okay. Money comes and goes, you'll make it back. So yeah, that was it. Just you had the stuff in place to help yourself show that you were legit. Because here I am.
Yeah. And that's like something that I want you and other people to do more of is like we can't be afraid to show results we've gotten for people. We can't be afraid to talk about money, right? Because if I didn't talk about those things, my messaging wouldn't reach the right people, right? So
Mhm.
sometimes I feel weird personally about talking about, oh, this person made this much money. This is how much I'm making. Sometimes I feel actually really weird about it because like I don't want people to think
Right.
I'm flexing or trying to have an ego. It's like, no, I just know that if I talk about this subject, it will resonate with the
Yep.
right people. It'll actually reach them. But if I
Yeah.
don't, it won't. And if you actually want to help people, you have to be able to reach them.
Yeah. And even in my life, I've started talking about numbers with people, and it's not to brag, it's not to try to say that I'm better than you, but it's to show, hey, you can have this kind of life if you just put in the work. You can also make 12K in the first month if you put in the work. That's the reason why you want to help people make their lives better. And in order to do that, you have to be honest. So thanks for sharing because that's why I'm here.
Yeah. Okay. So last question. What's like your biggest piece of advice to anybody who wants to start their own business, start a videography business, content business? What's the best piece of advice you can give to them?
Best piece of advice. I would say what I said earlier, where I was fearful of, okay, what do I do when this happens? But then if I thought far ahead, then I'll never start. So just take it day by day rather than a whole business. Conquering one step at a time. What's the most important thing that you should be doing for your business? And think about what you have to do for today, not tomorrow or next week or what if this and that. Think about what you have to do for today and be consistent in it. Because you can do all the steps, but if you just do it once and you don't do it over and over again, what's the point? Yeah,
Cool. Thank you so
side
much,
hustle.
Abigail. I'm very proud of you. You've came a long way. Yeah, your ceiling is like so high. I just see it. Also, the fact that because you're also one thing we didn't talk about is like your faith in Jesus too. That plays a huge role because that having faith gives you conviction. So having that higher source to
Mhm.
pull from also gives you that conviction. And just seeing how people are just like attracted to you now, as far as like how like
Right,
your comments are just flooded. People are like, "Oh my God, you're so good." This is just stage one. This is just 1.0 version,
right.
right? Now
Yeah,
it's like
I mean,
once you get into
people,
that next level, also like your clothing line that you want to do, like you're gonna blow up. And I'm just happy to say, I can always say that your first piece of content was because of me.
okay, that's funny.
I'll
That's
always
true
have them
though.
in my back pocket.
That's true though. That's true though. But people do say, because you mentioned the faith piece, but everyone that DMs me that has something nice to say, or every Zoom call I've hopped on, even if they've signed or they haven't signed with me, is there just something about you? You have this, they always use the word energy, and I know what it is. I know what it is. But they always use the word energy, and they're like, there's just something very calming about your presence and stuff like that. I won't say it, but we know what it is. But yeah, it bleeds
Wait,
into every
what is
part
it?
of my business. Faith, my faith
Ah,
in
yes,
my
yes.
relationship with Jesus.
Yeah.
They don't know what it is, but they don't know what to call it, but they know it's there.
Yeah,
And
that, and then you're just super authentic.
I give all that credit.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it makes you super authentic because you have someone backing you, right? Higher source, higher power, got your back.
absolutely,
That's really dope. Thank you so much.
absolutely.
Thank you so much for doing this interview. It's going to inspire a lot of people.
Yes.
It's going to help a lot of people because that's what it's all about. That's why I love doing these interviews with you guys months down the line. It's, wow, look at your journey. Now let's see if we can help the next person.
Yep.
And this will help people.
Yep.
All right, cool. Thank
So
you so
follow me on
much.
Instagram. Just kidding. I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
what is your Instagram though?
I'm just
What is
kidding.
it? You said it, now you got to
It's
drop
okay. You don't
it.
have to follow me on Instagram. I was just kidding because that's what people do when they get a moment of publicity. They're like, follow me on Instagram. It's just Abigail Daniela.
Yeah, that's the promo drop right there.
Follow me.
Cool. Well,
The
thank you.
promo. Yep. Yep. Of course.